Didn't we have a whole speech before about not giving speeches?
Yeah.
What is this, Gundam Wing? Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are back with another episode of Mobile Suit Gundam 0083 Stardust Memory. This will be our penultimate recording of this series, not including, of course, rankings to come later, as we'll be doing 2 episodes today, and then the final 2 episodes in a different recording. As normal, we come back with a board and notes, though I will say that Lessons has 1 less episode's worth of notes than I do. So, I guess we're gonna break tradition this time when we get to notes, and I'll start. Because I'm going to be starting with episode 7, and you're going to be starting with episode 8, so. And we may have a comment, depending on what the notes cover. So, I guess let's go ahead and start with the board first. Where, of course, I have the board changelog. I changed the line between Ko and Nina from green to purple. I changed the line between Keith and Mora from green to purple.
Makes sense.
I connected Sima and the Angus Young-looking Zeon guy to Kelly with a red line. I connected Kelly to Gato with a green line. I added Peter and connected him to Nina with a blue line. I connected Paula to Ko with a white line. The Angus Young guy, who, by the way, I think I'm going to keep referring to him as that in my notes, is actually called Colt. I marked Colt as dead. I connected Keith to Kelly with a red line. I connected Nina to Kelly with a white line. I marked Kelly as dead. I added Green Wyatt. I added Alios Mosley and connected him to Burning and Synapse with a green line. I added Carius Otto and connected him with a green line to Gato. I marked Burning as dead. I added the pink-haired girl. I added the Axis Fleet Admiral, and I added Billy Glardle and connected him to Gato with a green line.
So Peter Purpleton, that's it as well. I was wondering though when I saw the board whether or not we should mark Admiral Wyatt as dead.
It's unseen yet. We have no evidence that he's dead.
Seems like either he's dead or will be soon enough.
You say seems. It's the, if an episode ended, say we're characters in a show, right? So you're in this direction. I'm pointing a gun at you. No, sorry, I don't even have to do this. Sopranos ending.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, without the next episode, all you heard is a gunshot. You can assume, but without the confirmation of the next episode. So he, pointed the thing down and fired it, and all we saw was a blinding white light. We don't know that the Admiral's ship got hit. Could assume.
Although it seemed like it was the main target, so it would have been at the center of the.
Well, the entire fleet was the main target.
Yeah, but he was targeting a specific ship, and I think that was a Birmingham. But
no, I think it was meant to hit the entire thing. I think the whole thing is to take out the. I almost want to say Fleet Week, but we're not. It is an example of Fleet Week in trope, but it's not technically Fleet Week. It's Fleet Inspection, Fleet something. Can't remember what it's called.
It was literally they call it the Fleet Week.
No, they don't call it Fleet Week. They call it something else. That's why I'm saying it's not that. It's an example of Fleet Week Fleet
Review.
It's not Fleet Week itself though. They call it something else. They're doing something else. It's not Fleet Week in that, hey, let's parade all of our ships together in one spot. It's inspection or something like that. I can't remember what they're doing.
I think literally it was Fleet Week. It's what they were doing for 3 episodes.
I disagree with you, but I also don't want to carry this conversation on for the next 10 minutes. So either it's going to be in our notes where we directly reference what they call it, or it's not, and a commenter can hit us up in a year's time.
Well, then, you start with the notes.
I think you had mentioned at the start of episode 7, when Ko is rattling off numbers, that there was no information on what the numbers mean when he goes from 650 to 750. Well, we get a shot of his control panel and a couple of the abbreviations I looked up to try and figure out. N2, which is 172 over 173, or actually it's 172 on one side, 173 on the other. N2 most likely refers to the speed of the core of a jet engine, including the high-pressure compressor and turbine. EPR 7.2/7.1. EPR likely stands for engine pressure ratio. In a jet engine, is the ratio of the turbine discharge pressure divided by the compressor inlet pressure. And the number is what Ko is calling out, EGT 766/736. EGT likely standing for exhaust gas temperature, a common measurement in aviation of the hot gases exiting an internal combustion engine's exhaust system.
Well and good. I guess there's a note about that later on, how they're doing stuff that technically shouldn't work here because they are in space and therefore there's no air intake to the turbine, but
None of the numbers that I just mentioned actually measure air intake. Yeah, but you can compress internally with.
Yeah, but you need a source of air.
The same way that a sub stores air.
Yeah, but well, I suppose you can use it. Yeah, it depends on what they're using the turbine for.
Or the same way an airsoft gun has air compressor. What they call?
Yeah, because if they're using turbine merely for power, that's one thing. But if they're using the turbine for propulsion,
well, we know that they have a limited amount of propulsion.
Reaction mass.
Yeah.
Reaction mass, yes.
Yeah, that they can run out of their jets, as it were. So it would imply that they have some sort of limited base from which to work with, which is, I guess, what we're measuring.
But it's an output of power, but not kilonewtons or acceleration in kilometers.
There's lots of different readouts on the thing. I didn't put it here. I don't think it's even in my notes anywhere. But in the last episode, in episode 8 and 9, when he's targeting, you can see the G readout on his thing. He's constantly going from 5 to 8 Gs.
Yeah, but that's a bit different.
I know it's different. I've just said that there's multiple different readouts all across all of his things.
Well, I guess my notes, I go all the way to 8 because I skipped, due to limited time, I skipped episode 7. Episode 8, Conspiracy Sector. We get a new intro, and while the song is not half bad, Winner is still my favorite so far, which is the song in the opening of episodes 1 to 6.
I mean, no comment. I already did a whole ranking of my top 5 openings of Universal Century Gundam.
So far.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously so far. Hell, you could say so far, not even from the element that we haven't seen all of Universal Century. Just from the element so far, my opinion can also change. Well, Chekhov's gun of numbers. Ko wants to try reaching 160, but Nina says the Gundam can reach 230. Ko doesn't think his body can handle that, because he's clearly no Zex or Char, I guess. Still, obviously gonna wait and see till he pushes the machine to that limit. Future note, I think we already saw it. In the episode where Burning dies, the readout on Ko's screen is jumping between 613 and 630, while Ko is obviously straining to maintain control, so I think that is our indication that he's done it.
I mean, I didn't have a note of that, and I didn't particularly notice that, so...
Well, I mean, it goes into the same thing of how hard he's pushing himself, and then how hard Burning is pushing himself to the point where he's getting that haze in his eyes. It's very clear that he's pushing the suit to its limit and his own body to its limit. The same thing that would give Zex a heart attack in Gundam Wing when he pushes the Tall Geese to its limits.
And this goes to discussion we were having of Fleet Week. So we're plan to put all our ships in one place while the enemy has a nuclear-armed mobile suit running around unchecked. Sure, nukes by themselves, I have a fusion note about that, are not very effective in the vacuum of space, but still it's not a good idea to put all your eggs in one basket.
We've already learned that lesson with the solar ray. I don't know if we ever officially got told the date, but thanks to Keith, we now know. The Shining Blue Fire tickets list the date as November 5th, 83. Also, to be fair to Ko, the tickets say that the movie is at 1900 hours, and later the Albion says it's going to be leaving at 2100 hours. So while the scene with him and Nina might seem like a setup to him asking her out to see the movie, without knowing how long the movie is, it may have been an unrealistic expectation. Given the leeway some of these pilots seem to get, I have no idea if the show would expect us to believe that Ko could rush back on board the last minute or not. A 90-minute movie would still have left Ko scrambling with 30 minutes left to get back to the ship. Not to mention, if the expectation is that Ko needs to be on the ship the entire time before launch, performing duties to ensure the ship and the Gundam are at 100%.
Yeah, probably he will be, just a matter of basic roll call. He should be on the ship, 30 minutes or an hour before they depart, right?
I'm just saying,
otherwise,
given the time on the ticket and the time that they're mustering to leave, there was never a chance for him to make that movie with Nina.
Now, I know they're copying Top Gun in the heads-up symbology, but they are not using missiles, so there's no need to lock on in that matter. A real gun sight works different, and I have an image that I put up about gun sight because they're using a gun. Now, I know they're doing the whole, Pipper and box, which is straight out of Top Gun, which is also straight out of I believe the F-42 Phantom and later stages of Vietnam War. So they just kind of copied that. But again, that little box, which is most often used in most modern fighters, is a lock-on box. And when you're using a gun, you have like I show in the image, a funnel, because that's the bullet drop, right? In space, of course, it would be the relative, even in 3 dimensions, not even gravity, but relative motion of the two mobile suits, right? They're moving here. I got to aim here so that the beam, or move down so the beam intercepts, right? If I point where the old fashioned, you don't point where they are at, you point to where they're going to be, right? So the whole lock-on looks pretty cool, but it doesn't fit.
I think it does.
No, because I think
it does fit. Also, lead the
and,
target would be the shorter way to say that. But
yeah, lead the target.
I think it fits only from the element that they're just sparring, I guess the word I want to use. They're just sparring, and it's probably just a very simple way to spar in space.
I mean, you can use the standard gun, but once you put them, it's like you say, basically what pilots do is they say guns, 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 and yeah, you're dead.
Right, but this is the computer tracking it for us.
Oh, the computers are still tracking because these are radar-guided gun sights, so yeah, you would still know.
Right, but I'm just saying a lock-on isn't just an easier way to do that. Also, I don't know that we've ever seen these things fire missiles, so it's weird to have that, but I don't know. It's simple, and also it's visually easier to understand for the audience.
Yeah.
Because also I don't think we've ever had that. Yeah, because even Amuro back in 79 was doing missile locks for his gun.
Double. Yeah,
when he pulls the thing down in front of him, he looks at it. Remember Char and gang escaping from Luna 2 after he gets his camera shot out of his hand, and he's trying to aim at them, and it's like a missile lock scenario, and even though it's, who knows, that's the ARC-78-2, that could just be the learning computer. I want you to shoot at these things. All right, I've got a lock on these things. I'll aim at those now.
Yeah, but it was the double reticule thing when it would meet in the middle, and it would be a clear shot. Same thing, basically.
O'Sullivan is just an idiot, I think. Seema implies that he's happy when fighting breaks out away from Luna further reinforcing the fact that they are selling to both sides. I'm not sure what they are selling the Delos fleet, though. As to my recollection, we've only seen them in old Xeon models of mobile suits. Seema asks him for better, and he offers her something that's just about to be released. That's why I'm calling him an idiot. If Xeon shows up with your mobile suit models that only you are making, and are the only ones of them, that's the smoking gun to indicate your guilt where previously one didn't seem to exist. If you wanted to supply Xeon, all you'd have to do is give them something better than their 3-year-old models that they are better than the 3-year-old models that they are currently using. Whatever your most populous mass-produced line would be the way to go. That way, you could claim pirated shipments and the like, and it would seem a perfectly reasonable accusation.
I'm still on episode 8, so I'm an episode ahead. And now we start showering burning with red flags. He's like, oh, I'm going to be, free saying red, and you guys are great, you guys are ready. Like, you don't need me anymore, so if I die right now, you're okay. Kind of say scenario, right? Like, okay, cool, yes.
And now it was obvious the entire episode he was going to die, which I think I also have a note about somewhere later. I guess our Angus Young guy's cult ableist attitude reflects the current Xeon rebels' hubris. During the war, we saw the Thunderbolt sector and how Xeon was using every last man to their full ability. The fact they put them all in one sector, though, kind of feels like they were tossing them away. Were disabled Xeon soldiers spread out across the war and fighting, it wouldn't seem as suspicious as sending them all to one location. So this may be an extension of that attitude beyond the element of fighting with everything they have left. New fight, new desperation.
I think it's a little more meta in the sense that the writers of an older show had different attitudes. And the people who were writing Thunderbolt and the manga were like, oh, this might be an interesting take on the situation, right? Have all these characters who clearly have been injured by the war and show how Xeon was desperate back then to have a unit of them. Here it's like, yeah, we don't really need you, right?
I would hope not. I would hope not, because there's a guy that we both watch, or I used to. I don't watch him as much anymore because he doesn't do his interesting stuff to me. God, what's his name? He starts with an R. No, Steve Shives?
Steve Shives,
yeah. Yeah, his Star Trek stuff, where he constantly wants new stuff and not interconnected universe stuff. And that element that new writers come into the space to create new stuff with different perspectives and will just ignore everything that came before. That's why Picard feels so fucking weird compared to, say, TNG and that kind of stuff. I would dislike the element of... I know this works opposite to my point because Thunderbolt comes second, but the element that we establish that Xeon is this sort of way about disabled people. And then to say, well, I have a completely different take about that I would like to express. And no, don't. Fuck off.
Okay.
Well, my opinion is write your own shit. If Xeon is this way about this, Xeon is this way about this. Make a new faction, put it on the Federation side. But Xeon should be this way about this, unless you're going to change the dynamic. Like I said in my note, that new fight, new desperation, that they're treating things differently, and then in that case, express that in the medium. But if you're not going to express it at all and just say, oh, it's just kind of weird, well, follow the show Bible, as it were. If things are away, they're that way, or tell us how they've changed. Otherwise, don't come in with your own thing and try and change the work that you're in make your own thing
I think
in
it
that
still
case.
fits because I think what happened in Thunderbolt sector, when talking about Thunderbolt, it shows how desperate the Sion was at the time. And also they were pretty cruel. They were perfectly willing to sacrifice people's limbs and experiment on them.
I'm
Just
commenting
to
on a meta sense at this point, lessons, not specifically about this one thing anymore. I was using the example of Picard's writers, not Jean-Luc, Patrick Stewart himself, being so outside the box of what TNG was, is to not recognize how weird Picard was as compared to the shows that came before it. At that point, you should start just writing a brand new thing.
Well, that was the case when we never had gotten Deep Space Nine.
No, you can still Deep Space Nine fits. Deep Space Nine has a different tone, but it still fits everything that's happening in the universe of Star Trek. Same way that Enterprise still fits. It's the same vision, but it's the vision tested, right? We're in a utopia, right? But we're the utopia. What if that utopia was tested? How far would you how far would you be willing to protect that utopia? That's why you get Section 31, or the Dominion comes in and it's like, sure, the outside might not be a utopia. We're still keeping to Roddenberry's vision of. Roddenberry's vision also, I would say, doesn't really apply anymore because, look at the shit he wrote versus the main stuff. But I'm just saying that Deep Space Nine still fits, and that you could still make Deep Space Nine. It is certainly an odder piece to the rest of it, but it's not as out there, anti-Star Trek's message that Picard is.
I haven't watched Picard, so I would have to talk, see if that's a thing that is, or it's just things that feels that way. Anyway, to my next point then. I was wondering, and when I said this all the way back to even Thunderbolt, I think. I was wondering what the heck was the Federation doing with the destroyed colonies. I guess it took them a few years to get them to deal with the problems of all the space debris and a used living space. Because it makes sense that they would, take the abandoned colonies and try to reuse them, pulling them.
I know. I have a future note about it because you're just way ahead of me, and I'm not going to jump to my note about it to match yours just yet because I'm smiling because my note about it is not as understanding as yours is, because they very specifically talk about what they're doing and how, to me, that is fucking stupid. And I'll cover that when we get there. Well, I'll cover that when I get there. You're already there, obviously. So according to Nina's readout, Ko is 19, 5'10", and 154 pounds.
It's technically, depending on if 18 is an adult. Yeah,
technically, when this was written, I think 16 was the age of majority in Japan.
Yeah, but I'm talking about for military service.
Again, if 16 is the age of majority, then I have to assume that that's the age you could do anything as an adult in Japan. Again, you can't base it, I think, on our I'm gonna say Western standards, but the element is being written by Japanese people, so you have to take it from a Japanese mentality. It's different when the characters are outright expressed to be of a nationality. I can't think of an example off the top of my head. I keep thinking back to Origin, when they do Operation British, and they pan over the United Nations building, and you see all the flags of all the nationalities. I was like, oh, America still exists, So technically, people of every specific nationality, it seems, still exists in the Gundam universe at the start of the 1 Year War. So technically, there could be a heavily American. I guess Slager isn't a dad, very much an American coded. He eats hamburgers. He looks American.
We have
give him like 200 extra pounds, and he would be stereotypical American.
We have a character who plays American football. Was an American football player. Could be Canadian, but
Yeah, they don't specifically. Like I said, you could type out very specifically that somebody is a specific nationality, but I think you typically take it as a given that they're gonna be Japanese, unless stated otherwise.
Talking about cool. Poor precious cool. Taking what Nina said literally about the carrots. Also, Keith, being a creep like Moshe is no why Nina likes Ko. You are the worst wingman, my dude.
I think I literally have a note that says exactly the opposite. Keith is the best wingman. We'll cover that when we get there, though, because I do not remember what I said about it. I just do remember off the top of my head that I believe it says something like Keith is like a great wingman or something.
Not in that particular.
Oh, actually, no. I think off the top of my head, and I'm not getting into it yet. I think I actually refer to how Keith would be the ultimate wingman in Macross.
Wow.
But we'll get there when we get there. I'm still, I don't know, an episode behind you. I can't even tell anymore.
Yeah, probably.
I wonder if Peter Purpleton is the owner of Anaheim or something. Nina's boss, the department chief, said he was an old family friend and that it was his job to keep her safe, and then implied that he'd lose his job if he didn't take her off the project. Peter even mentions talking to the department chief about it. It's the combo of the two things together that makes me imagine that possibility. Otherwise, it could just be O'Sullivan pulling strings to make the Gundam less effective and thus weaken the Albion for SEMA.
I mean, that second part was the part that was my impression of it, right?
Well, but it also entered into my head, if that was the case, why wouldn't he then try to slow down the rebuilding effort or the repair effort? Why would he just take her off of the thing? It seems more likely that not more likely, there's more connective tissues to Peter giving orders to people in the organization to keep his daughter safe and to take her away from harm's way.
I feel that the timing points at B more than A, but it could well be both,
Again, that's why I included both in the thought. I have no definitive proof of either. I just have more data points for one than I do the other one.
The way I would say is more B, but he can cover his ass basically because he's a corporate guy. CYA by saying, "Oh, by the way, your dad has been worried about you, so it's my job to keep you safe. Family connections plus corporate connections. So I'm going to put you off, not because I want to. I know you're doing a great job, but really I don't have a choice, right?" So it seems like, and she doesn't blame her father for being pulled out of the infection. She says, "Oh, I know you're gonna be safe and go home." It's like, yeah, whatever, right? Like, yeah, daddy, whatever. She does isn't quite just the daddy, I'm coming home kind of bit, but close enough. So it's like, I'm not doing it because I'm working with the enemy, because my only interest is to make profits for Anaheim, right? We don't know how deep both of this goes in. Anaheim cooperating with both sides. Are his bosses into this? Do they know? But they want a plausible deniability if he goes south. Like, oh, that was that guy who did it, right? We don't have enough info there to know, right?
There's the element that
enough.
A operation of that scale can't be just a few people.
Yeah.
Like Seema's talking to O'Sullivan about, oh, you have us docked at the furthest docks away from this location to keep us hidden away. I was like, well, there's got to be dock workers on that side. There's got to be people who would recognize a Xeon ship if they saw it. There's just it's the Bat Cave complication, right? Who built the Bat Cave? Who did all the electrical work and everything like that? In the not the recent movie, one of the movies. Oh yeah, I had a bunch of different contractors from out of state, all working separately on one bit or another, so that nobody would know each individual thing. And blah 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 blah. It's too big of an operation to keep completely hidden.
But that's what I meant. Plausible deniability. Plausible is not the same as perfect deniability. It's like, oh, that was him and his team.
No. I'm not. I'm not commenting on the element of him keeping himself safe from anything. I'm just indicating that it can't be just him or a couple people at the top.
Oh, sure.
There has to be a whole infrastructure of people signing off on paperwork falsely, or people actually running the dock, or, things like, there's got to be a lot of people in the chain of things that are getting kickbacks and whatnot.
Or told to shut up or lose their jobs, right?
I don't know. I think back towards like Better Call Saul or something with Mike's whole, and this is our share for the people who are locked away so that they keep their mouths shut.
Yeah. My next point. It wouldn't be a Gundam show if some Fedi commander didn't slap around his subordinates. I'm not condoning it. It seemed to come out of nowhere, although I have an inkling of what they were trying to do there in that scene. Like, he was like, hey, you got to be here on time or otherwise, right? But it just seems like, hey, we've done it every other show. Might as well slap people around.
Well, we haven't for a long time.
I mean, except for Thunderbolt. I mean, 79 had plenty of slaps. What else?
79 had all the slaps. Yeah. Requiem didn't have slaps.
They never had time for it. They barely knew they were alive. Well, I'm talking about the Federation.
I don't remember War in the Pocket having slaps.
Oh, yeah, they had slaps on. Yeah, they literally beat the crap out of, almost beat the crap out of the ensign, the junior guy, for messing up, for letting the kid know what the hell was going on.
You just said Federation.
Yeah, usually it's a Federation, but in this case it was Sion who did that.
I don't remember them beating the crap out of him. I remember them coming down on him, but that was verbal.
Oh, they actually.
You're talking about a different guy. I'm talking about Bernie.
I'm talking about Bernie, yeah.
I do not remember Bernie getting slapped.
Oh, yeah.
Verbally, not physically.
He got a couple of hits in. Not many, but yeah.
Igloo, I don't remember any slaps in Igloo.
I mean, Prison, but...
No, what's her name in Prison didn't get slapped.
No.
You don't think they could have? I don't think they could have. No, I don't know what you're thinking. I was implying. I just mean I don't think that they had the CGI skill.
Oh, yeah.
We were pointing out how insane some of the faces looked in Igloo 2 specifically, and that part is in Igloo 2.
Yeah.
Stone's Island, the movie, I don't remember any slaps. That's because Amuro was on the island, away from Brightland, majority of the movie.
Slugger gets a slap.
Slugger
gets slapped by, what's her name?
Sayla.
Sayla, yeah.
Fair enough.
But it seems to be part of his plan. Like, yeah,
doesn't matter. It's still a slap.
It's still a slap, but
Yeah, but I'm just saying, outside of 79 itself, the slap counter basically disappears. Like 2 slaps, maybe, across the rest of the year.
Oh no! What's his name? Slapped her commander out of being high on drugs. Yeah, that happened.
You didn't even indicate what show you're talking about.
Thunderbolt. I mean, she was high.
That's my indication now. You're going from 7 slaps in 79, including punches, by the way. In 79 to 1 slap a series at most in the rest of it.
But my note wasn't, oh, there's a lot of slaps going on. It's like, it wouldn't be a show without at least a slap. So,
yeah, but again, you're only indicated 3 out of 7. So that's still minority. Slapping minority. Which, by the way, is not our spin-off shows.
No, that's a way to get your ass kicked. That's like, yeah, buddy, try that. Mm-hmm. That's gonna work.
Kill Hannah cover band. Slapping minority. Although, actually, technically, when you say it, it's not bad. It's not a bad thing. I didn't say slapping minorities. I said slapping minority. That would be a minority that slaps, which is a good thing.
Oh, okay. Context is always very important.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That is the context that you have to. If you don't pluralize it, then it's not, I am going to go out slapping minorities. It is my minority that slapping minority.
Yeah. The slapping minority would be a good cover band.
Nina recognizes Kelly's name as she's leaving the dock, maybe implying that they know one another. I mean, either that or Kelly is also a feared ace that just didn't get a nickname like Gato did, and Ko isn't aware of. My original thought was that Nina might know Gato and Kelly was a shared friend, but I didn't write that at first because I could have sworn. Apparently, I've written because I could have sworn Nina saw Gato when he was stealing the Gundam and never recognized him. But here she says Kelly is acting like Gato, and that seems to imply that my first thought was the correct one.
Well, she did see him. She did see they were in the hangar, and Gato just strolled in. It's like, oh yeah, these are the Gundams. Like, yeah, shit, there they are. Saw him in a Federation uniform. Didn't recognize him. He climbs into the Unit 2, and she's like, oh, you can't do that, and then he takes it away and steals it. So yeah.
Then it's just a mixed mash of weird thoughts then, because either that or she just like, well, Gato's been our enemy this whole time. I'm just going to talk about him in a familiar way. And that just seems odd. But then again, there's also that scene later where Gato has blonde hair. That threw me off for a while. That maybe Gato just doesn't look like... Maybe Gato, in infiltration mode, dyed his hair. And then now he's dyed it back.
Now, this is a question still on the same episode. Not yours, but mine. Episode 8. What the hell was the Inspector General of the Fleet doing meeting a known enemy of the Federation? And what was the gift that he had for Seema? We never see the gift. It never gets delivered, so...
No. My problem is that I know I have, like, multiple notes about this, mostly from Seema's point of view. But they're mixed in with other notes that I don't exactly remember. So I know I was going to go back and edit one of my notes, and I could have sworn whatever I'd written down had something about Seema the pirate. And it's like, I looked up pirate, and it's like, nope, didn't write that at all. So kind of lost myself on where I put that.
He gets reference, at least in the English sub, because I rewatch it in English, as a Marine.
Well, it's because she's in a, she is a Marine. She's a Xeon, Marine. She's a Xeon, Marine, yeah. I don't know why I was launching into an explanation of it, but it's self-explanatory. We all know what a Marine is. Even Star Trek has Marines. Either the Gundam design has gotten worse, or Kelly's electric attack was more piercing than McQueeve's mobile armor. Back in '79, McQueeve nearly shut down the RX-78-2 with an electrical attack that superheated the Gundam and drained its power as it tried to cool itself. But Amuro in the cockpit was not getting electrocuted. Here, Ko is getting shocked by these pods, so this Gundam either isn't as insulated, or these pods are putting out more juice than an entire mobile armor from 3 years ago.
It may well be. Updates, whatever updated he did for the system, perhaps. This mobile armor, that earlier mobile armor seemed more experimental. This one seems to be like a production mobile armor that he was able to get from his...
I would propose that most mobile armors are not production models. Given how, the 1 year war, remember Amuro attacking that one base, specifically actually where McQueeve's mobile armor came from, incited Caecilia to just produce every fucking mobile armor we have a design for. The Amuro's going rogue caused the production of all sorts of random shit. So there's tons of Xeon one-time use mobile armors. And this could just be one of them. The fact that we've never seen any of them ever before would lead me to believe that this was one that was getting produced and then maybe got like a little bit wrecked at Abo Quo and he towed it away, but otherwise never again. Also, how the fuck did he hide it on the moon? I guess it goes towards my belief that the moon has more Xeon leaning than it does Federation. That's probably because they were under the thumb for a full-on year.
And they might see themselves. There's also how the Federation talked about, like one of the generals talked about Nina's like that Lunarite, like but she's not that important, right?
Well, there's the element, the way that the Lunarians themselves seem to refer to themselves in the same way that Side 6 does, which is to say, keep your fighting everywhere but here. But again, they were under the thumb of Xeon for the entirety of the war.
I mean, they might, again, they see themselves as citizens of space, so they might be more sympathetic to Xeon in that sense.
Well, I mean, more so
Not
that
merely-
they were essentially Xeon citizens the entire time.
Now, this goes to a lot of questions that we had. I don't know if you probably have a couple of notes about this, but this is my theory. I think the piece of space debris burning finds is from the ship that the Birmingham, I know, Birmingham, kind of difficult to parse, hit when they took the shot against across the bow from SEMA. It would, not should, but it would explain what it was doing here. The Deadsian crew member on the suitcase with information about Operation Stardust. Still very contrived, but plausible.
All right. Well, this is where I'm going to go back to the comment from before, and I'm probably going to forget to put this in the edit, so forgiveness. Angel James from the Patreon, Stardust Memory from the episode Conspiracy of Silence. The wreckage Burning got the briefcase from is probably SEMA's Musai that got sunk by the Albion at the start of the fight.
Yeah, that's the second ship that gets hit.
Yeah. That's what you're indicating, and that's what they're indicating. And actually, this is the thing I couldn't find in my notes, because that's why I couldn't find it, because I put it up here as a response to this. SEMA refers to them trying to steal her profits, and that only Gato would suffer the fallout from this. So whatever is going on with her, it clearly seems like we are right about the pirate nature, and that she's selling everyone out.
I mean, she could literally... But here's the thing. Okay.
She's selling information on the Operation Stardust. Yeah.
Why wasn't it on her ship and instead wasn't the other ship that got hit?
Keep everything separated.
Yeah, but if it's...
Also, that guy was handcuffed to the thing, so...
Yeah. True, but you would keep that guy close to you because that guy has information that you want to trade, right? Unless her plan was that she would send the Musai to rendezvous with the Birmingham and she would stay back just in case to cover them, and then they would transfer over whatever it is that what's his name? White, yeah.
Wyatt.
Wyatt Riot.
Just call him Green if you like. You kept getting him mixed up with Green Hill, which again is a one Sonic level, but also two character from Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
Yes,
two characters actually.
Wyatt.
There's Dwight Greenhill, and then there's his daughter, whose name I can't remember because we only saw her like twice.
Red Hills. Yeah,
we saw her twice in like 50 episodes, and not for nothing, the start of the 50 episodes.
Whatever he was going to hand over to her that was valuable enough for, essentially to wreck.
Again, she says profit.
Yeah. Gold bars, I guess? I don't know.
Well, that doesn't seem to be the case because she was giving gold bars away.
That seems to be well, anyway, that was my note to you, to your next note then.
My only observation about the new opening, Burning isn't in the new opening, so I guess that was a hint. In the entirety of the opening, Burning is in none of the shots. Well, the assembled pilots and everything, or the bridge crew, none of it. Burning isn't in any of it. And we get the new opening before he dies, so that was an observable point.
Burning got burned. To my next note then. That's my last note for Chapter 8. The page that we see before it gets splattered by Burning's blood is just a cover letter for the documentation. I freeze framed it. I looked it over. It just says, basically is like, this is going to be this that we're going to talk about.
Hold on. I'll interrupt you because obviously I wrote it all down. So let me just throw this in here and then... Well, the document Burning died reading was actually rather disappointing. Top secret. Eyes only, copy 1, subject, Operation Stardust, preliminary briefing for document prepared 30th of July, 0083. Note this document has been prepared as a preliminary briefing only. It should be regarded as introductory to a full operations briefing intended to follow. Operation Stardust is a top-secret research and development / intelligence operation responsible directly and only to the Delez fleet. Operations of the project are carried out under control of the Delez Fleet Group, which was established by a special classified executive order of, for some reason, just of dot. Upon recommendation by the secretary, members of the Delez Fleet Group were designated as follows. The death of the secretary Forstall on created a vacancy which remained unfilled until upon which date Jen was designated as permanent replacement. Top secret T52-exempt E. I said
That
I
last
was going to
paragraph.
pause and write it all out, and as disappointing as it was, I still wrote it out.
It was basically the cover letter, like saying it's not even it's just cover letter. It's not even a letter of intent. It's like saying this is what you're reading. If you don't have the clearance, stop reading now. Basically,
I mean, you might remember I did the exact same thing with God, I can't remember what it was called in G-Quux. It was the Elder God's name. It literally had a front cover letter on that too, and it read exactly the same way as this does.
very good English, at least in the first paragraph. Second paragraph was a little bit.
Yeah, it very much seems like they don't mean like a person called Forstall, even though they capitalized it, like a proper noun.
Yeah,
Feels like they're meant Forstall is like the word Forstall, and Jen.
The next episode 9, The Nightmare of Solomon. Again, if it seems that we're over the place, it's because Theta is covering the first episode that should have been here was episode 7, and I skipped that one.
Well, there's also an element that the further on into the 3 episodes, I have less and less thoughts about. So I might actually finish before you at this point.
Probably. But not necessarily. So Delos has enough pull, enough on an aura that even the distant Sion fleets orbiting Jupiter decided to join him.
They're not orbiting Jupiter.
They're coming from Jupiter.
They're not.
You can see the graphic that says Jupiter.
They're not.
Mars,
they're not. They're not. They're not. They're not. They're not. They're not. Not. The Itchy and Scratchy Show. All right, I'll read my response. Well, did you finish your thought?
Yeah.
So apparently I just guessed close to right in episode 9 without having paid attention to the background details. I said that maybe the new fleet was like a Jupiter fleet. I believe I referenced Charlie Bull's activities from 79 and G-Quux. Well, on the screen in the background of the start of the episode was a system map showing the fleet trailing from a place called Axis in the asteroid belt and moving towards Earth. It's not coming from Jupiter. Literally, you can see the Mars orbit line and the Jupiter orbit line, and there's this dotted white line in between the two. Well, what's between Mars and Jupiter? Lessons.
The asteroid belt.
There you go. And not for nothing, if I've done this before in Myriad Song and the like, when you're gonna make a pirate base, put it in the asteroid belt.
I mean, still the fact that their fleet stationed that far off and surviving after 3 years is something.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not debating that. I'm just debating where it is. Obviously, I'm arguing against what I said in the reaction, because I said it was in Jupiter as well. But I had to point out that it's an Axis. That's why I also said the Axis Admiral when I added to the board that this is whatever this is. These people are Axis, a group we have never seen before. But yeah, Axis base is in the asteroid belt, apparently.
Next note then, which is a long one. Well, Admiral Dulles, if you know it's such a gamble, one which you don't have enough forces to continue if you fail, what exactly do you hope to accomplish? The Federation did not capitulate after you dropped the colony on Earth that killed hundreds of millions, and then ran out of effective resources, and then Zeon ran out of effective resources during the war. Do you think that the other colonies, or for that matter, the Republic of Siena, will simply jump to support you now in a new destructive conflict? It's like fighting World War II and saying, well, that didn't go well, but now we have a nuke, we can do it again just a scant 3 years later.
To be fair, Germany did do it without a nuke.
20 years later, they had to rebuild, they had to consolidate power and get the government of Germany on their side.
I guess the example would be more like if... No, sorry, I'm about to make an example using World War II units. and the example needs World War I units. I don't know. I still think it works. The example is that he is so inspiring that he pulls in Axis. That's the point of that episode's beginning. That Axis is like, well, we don't have the resources to do this ourselves. Delaz is out there doing it. We've got to give him our resources. Your indication's more towards Dallas and his like, if it seems like we're not going to be able to do this, I'll recall everything immediately. You're leaning into Dallas's doubt. And not for nothing, I appreciate that we got that insight from him. Because he might be the ghost of Giran, but he's more insightful than Giran, because we never saw Giran have a single doubt. Right before that bullet went through his head, he thought, we're going to win this.
No, then.
Now, here's my talking about the Banchai. So they are moving damaged Banchai from side 1 over to side 3. That's a choice, I guess. Side 1 was nuked by Zeon, as we learned in the More About the Universal Century series of shorts. And of course, side 3 is Munzo itself. So Zeon destroyed a bunch of Banchai, and even hurled one at Earth. And now the Federation is moving damaged Banchai into Zeon. I guess, I can only guess that the plan is to move functional Banchai into Lagrange points that still have a functioning civilization. Side 3, side 6, maybe side 7. But again, think about it. These people have used Banchai as weapons before. You're effectively rearming them. Not only have they used Banchai as weapons before, they've done it multiple times. Operation British and the Solar Ray are both weaponized Banchai. They have used 2 Banchai as weapons. How many do we see them getting given on screen? 2. We've rearmed them.
Well,
I'm just saying, I'm being hyperbolic, I understand. It's just funny to think, where should we move these Banchai? Let's give it to the people who have specifically used them as weapons.
True, that's one way of seeing it. Another way of seeing it, 2 ways actually, is 1, if we move Banchai in that area and populate them with our people, then essentially we're surrounding Zeon with unfriendly Banchai. Yes, I know they didn't stop them from gassing and nuking them, even though we're far away, but still.
I was leaning more to the element that they never say this thing that you're saying.
Yeah, but that's my interpretation. And the second one is, if you're doing reconstruction, and part of reconstruction might be a source of pacification, right? Oh, listen, we're going to give you jobs. You're the experts. You can try to rebuild these Banchai alongside us. We have a common reason to cooperate, right, with the Republic of Zeon. It's like, we recognize that you're a republic. We just want to work with you guys. You just want to give your guys jobs. You have wealth. Hey, you can do this peacefully. By the way, we're going to put troops in these Banchais just in case,
Again, things that don't get said.
Yeah.
In my mind,
that's
it
why I
fit.
would do it.
In my mind, it's one hilarious, as I point out in my own note. The element, these people, the only people who have ever used Banchais as weapons, let's give them 2. But also just the element, I don't think it fits. I think you would give these to like side 6, which you have dealings with already, or you would bolster side 7 if side 7's still a thing. We have really no idea. It's side 7 and Luna 2 over there. We don't know if side 7 ever got repaired or whatever. But you could,
it was under construction, so yeah.
Yeah, but you could fix it up, and you could establish a greater Lagrange point with at least 3 Banchai and Luna 2 there.
Yeah.
But side 3, in my mind, would be the last place the Federation would send these things.
The thing is, I would argue that the first thing you got to do is do a cleanup, take all the damaged parts from existing Banchai, the debris fields, and then use that to rebuild, either fix existing Banchai or rebuild the Banchai. Once you use those resources, also helps you clean up the area, which I think is what they were doing in G-Quarks, by the way, all those
we covered that. That's what they're doing in G-Quarks, but they're not even effective there. Still so much to clean up, and we know they're not doing it here yet. 3 years after the fact, because
So
that's
moving.
Gato's point when they go into the Sea of Solomon, and it's like,
Yeah.
there's still wreckage here. You see the floating Zaku messing with whether it was a dom or something, messing with it, and it's like, yeah, this is the thing I keep bringing up in like Macross, where there's like 2,000-year-old battlefields with dead bodies still floating in them.
Yeah, but we're talking about a galaxy there. It's a galaxy. Just it could have been a battlefield, and the Centralians were never known for being good reusers or anything. They used stuff until it broke down, right?
Yeah, but specifically, I think what I'm referring to is Frontier. I think where they're doing
they came off across.
They're doing like test runs and shit in the middle of it, flying through the dead bodies and playing paintball. Essentially, the same thing I brought up here about the ruins of Australia. They have no sanctity for the ruins of dead civilization.
Well, the dead can't complain, I guess. I'm not justifying, just saying it. That's going to be my watchword for today. I'm not justifying, I'm just saying it. Next point. When Nina came floating down the corridor, I noticed that the side rail puller had a downward ending. Because I always been talking about how, how they don't wrench their arms, it suddenly stops, or how it really works.
I brought that up plenty of times. Not specifically in this show, but all the other ones where they go in a circle, so that when you get to the end, it rolls around and leads you backwards again.
Yeah, but that would be like, I can see somebody going like,
Oh no, I would think if you're doing actual zero gravity, you would just roll with it. Like maybe if you're the unfortunate asshole who can't control it, you would just like still keep going forwards and wrench out of the socket backwards. But
yeah, that's what I'm afraid
they don't seem to be going super fast.
Yeah,
and
that's one aspect.
I think Witch from
Mercury, I'm not finishing my note.
Had the same thing too. I know it's just something I've talked about a lot, so it feels like my jump-in point.
Continuing, it might well be there to slow it down, so that has a soft landing, so it's slow stop, and you just let go. Then again, I figure that it won't activate unless you press a button or grip. So it's not something that's going to shoot you. You have to actually either push it or grab it or push a button or something like that to activate it. And when you stop, you just let it go, and that's it. So the easiest thing to do is like, oh, I was going to stop. Oh, okay, let it go, and you fly off to whatever. But and again, and it never really moves fast enough to cause any real damage. By real damage, I mean significant damage, although even at slow speeds, if you hit your head or your head or neck on a wall at the right angle, you're done, right? You can even end up with an internal decapitation. The human body is like that. Very strong in some cases, extremely weak in others, right?
The only thing I was mentioning that Witch from Mercury has the same thing, but it doesn't have bars. I think it's just like tactile wall, so that you can just like put your hand on it and
it just
it propels you forwards. And then one of my, I won't say favorite scene, probably it's one of my favorites. It's a very emotional scene featuring the two characters chasing after one another, because one's having an emotional moment and the other one's talk to me about stuff, don't just run away from me moment, where she does it and then like rolls into the wall and then propels themselves off, kicks themselves off the wall, whereas the other one just like full on headbutts into the wall by mistake. Ouch. Yeah, and then she goes, which causes the other one to stop. Are you okay? Gotcha. One of those. So it's essentially everything you talk about with this stuff. They use it there. But I also like the element of not having these bars coming out, because imagine you're going through some crazy shit and you're like jerking all over the place. You don't want to go like, oh, fuck, bar in the back.
You stab yourself with the back, whatever, side, back, etc.
Ko's report in episode 8 says that it's November 8th, so only 3 days since Kelly's death. Also, the Gundam is called RX-78 GP01FB.
General purpose, I don't know what
General purpose 01. This is after the upgrade, so maybe the FB stands for the upgrade, but it doesn't really fit because it's Vernier drive it gets upgraded with, and that's FB. So I don't know. It's just what's written there. Also, he had other little notes that was written in cursive, but I was like, not gonna spend my day on it.
I got a note here. Well, you get exactly what you expect when you torture somebody. Absolutely nothing worth of value, especially if the prisoner believes that they just have to hold on just long enough to see their side win. Moshe is a real dirtbag all around.
Yeah, but I think he probably also represents the greater Federation in this.
Because the soldier right there is like, oh, that's
Well, to be
about my
fair,
pay, right? Yeah.
Ko and, well, Nina wouldn't have any. She's a civilian at this point. Ko doesn't stop
Yeah.
him. What are you doing?
Oh, he's
Didn't watch.
he's horrified what's going on.
Oh, yeah, but he
He's
doesn't
like,
step in.
Yeah, he tries to stop it, but he says
He doesn't try and stop it. Literally, he goes from Mancha breaking a pencil between his fingers to this guy stomping on his hand and justifying himself through words. And at no point does Ko say, stop. Ko only says, what are you doing?
He uses the pencil to break the guy's finger. That's why,
It doesn't seem like that's what happened. Like, I used to do that at school. I could break a pencil all over my fingers. It didn't break my fingers. It's like, be painful if you weren't the one doing it to yourself. But that's just all it seemed. Like, I don't know. Maybe the guy was using like a number 4 pencil or something. I don't know.
Great thick pencil, yeah.
Sci-fi, man.
So, I mean, Moshe being just a jackass as always,
I feel like Keith is the character every Macross show needed. Some guy in the show saying what the audience is thinking about the will they, won't they relationships. I wrote this specifically when Keith is going off on Ko in the room. Come on, man. Just fucking do it.
Yeah, but the part about that is he brings the photos with him, and that's...
Remember, those are Moncho's photos. Those aren't his photos.
But he's the one who steals them and brings them over to...
I would also point out to you that the show disagrees with you. Even Burning, who is our point of wisdom, was like, man, you should have kept at least one.
Yeah, I don't...
And from that aspect, I don't even think that was just a, hey, you need to at least perv out a little bit. I think that was from the aspect of, yeah, we all keep at least like one picture of the person we love in our mobile suits. He had his ex-wife jammed up in there. I'm assuming Keith has a picture of Mora somewhere in his Gundam. So, it's the standard trope. What's her name from Requiem for Vengeance? I think all of them actually had pictures of people in their mobile suits.
Yeah, she had a picture of her husband and son.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everybody does it. And so, from Burning's perspective, it was probably like, what do you call it? Not stereotype. Don't walk under ladders, throw salt over your shoulder. What do you call it?
Don't jinx yourself, basically.
Well, that's a different thing. But you know what I'm talking about.
Superstition?
Superstition, yeah. Superstition. Always have a loved one in the cockpit with you or something.
I mean, I get that, but again, if this has been, go and have here's a camera, let's have a picture together, whatever, that'll be fine. He stole the pictures that Moshe was taking secretly from from Ko's girlfriend, basically, because they already told each other they love each other, want to be together, in episode 7.
Also, remember, Mora told Keith about the pictures Mancha was taking, and that's how he knew to steal them. And what does he do? He doesn't keep them for himself. He gives them to the guy whose relationship is with that woman. So... And
then what? Okay, but then how Mora responds when she finds out that Keith has them? She was about to beat the crap out of him. Yeah. He's like, no, I destroy them because they're awful pictures.
My response to this lesson is it's perfectly reasonable responses from everybody. Keith takes the thing away from Mancha. Reasonable response. Mancha's a creep. Mora is unhappy that her friend's pictures are now just floating around in the ether with a bunch of degenerates. Reasonable response from her. Keith gives them to Ko. Ko, the person who's actively in a relationship with the person, so reasonable best friend move. My response there. Ko shreds them because he's an innocent boy who's reading on how to please space noid women. So...
And eating carrots because...
Again, everybody's response is reasonable here. I don't blame Keith one bit. Keith was a great wingman. Hey, there's a creep taking pictures of your girl. I stole them. Here you go. Didn't keep one for myself because I'm not a creep. Also, I'm in love with a different girl. I don't need pictures of your girl. And he's like, come on, man. You gotta make a move. Stop being... Shinji from Evangelion.
Without being you.
Yeah, he's perfect wingman. no notes, except for all my notes that I just made.
Sure. My next note. Admiral Wyatt saying that in the English dub, a gentleman must always be on time. To it, I say, no man is late for their own funeral.
You can be late for your own funeral.
Not if you're dead.
Your funeral is a social affair.
Yeah.
You can be late. You can't be late for your own death, unless you die in your sleep. I guess technically there's a way to be. Either way, you can be late for your own funeral. One, if you've ever seen, there's that great movie about the guy who's escorting the military dead body across the country to the funeral with. I don't know, Willie Nelson. It's not Willie Nelson. It's the guy from Cheers. And he was also in Zombieland. His name starts with a W. That's throwing me off, is why I said Willie Nelson at first. Woody Harrelson. Woody Harrelson plays that guy. He won't leave the body alone. Like, he spends the night at the airport, sitting out where the body is being kept all night with it. Everything like that. A funeral is a social affair. You can be late for your own funeral.
Technically, the funeral happens whether you have a body. Well, yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's fine.
Well, no, I mean, they might stall the funeral for your body to get there. I mean, it depends on what the situation is, right? If this is like a familial thing versus we've rented the
space, funeral home.
Yeah, funeral. I'm sorry, I've been to a number, but I can't remember the names of the place. Well, because technically they also do the cremation stuff there, and it's crematorium at that point, right?
Yeah. Have you both?
Yeah, that's why it threw me off for a second. So yeah, if it's not something where we've booked a time, has to be here. Also, at that point, if there's no body, it can just be a wake.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can be late for your own funeral. Don't have to keep going on this for 5 more minutes. But no, just the other bit, you're getting on Green?
Wyatt.
Yeah, Green Wyatt. About this thing. SEMA's console had a readout showing 114 hours, 4 seconds, and 36 minutes. Yes, that's the order that they put that in for some reason. So a little under 5 days for something to happen. We know it can't be for the attack on the naval review. That's what they call it. Not Fleet Week, naval review. I knew I had written it down at least somewhere. As that's only 2 days away. Meaning the assault on Solomon and the naval review that we see happening is what the... Sorry, I should say is not, but apparently I forgot the word not. Is not what the countdown is for. Then in episode 9, we see another clock that says 69 hours, 34 minutes, 37 seconds. Essentially a day and 21 hours have passed. And that's on Deliz's ship. The first one's on SEMA's ship, the second one's on Deliz's ship.
And this is a note about actually what the weapon on Unit 2 is, because it's very interesting. So Unit 2, the main weapon, is not a nuke launcher, but a nuke pump energy weapon. Pumped, I don't say, yeah. The idea was formulated by scientists in the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratories in the 1970s, and while research continued into the 1980s under SDI, Strategic Defense Initiative, Project Excalibur, the results were less than satisfactory and the project was canceled. But like I was always talking earlier about, nuke in space is not very effective, blah, 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 but they're not technically using a nuclear weapon directly. They're using an energy weapon that is fueled by a nuclear explosion. So,
and that was my aha moment there at the end, because you kept going on about how this nuke would be useless if he used it in space. And then it started assembling his gun, and it's like, aha, it's not. He's not just firing a nuke. It's the element of the amount of visible material that you can actively use versus how much is actually used in a nuke. But also the element of when he's assembling it together just made me think of caster guns from Outlaw Star.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with anything, really. It's just they have that same twisty mechanism within them.
Yeah.
When the hell did Gato get blonde hair? We've only seen Carius talking to Gato and calling him Commander, so when he goes to find the Commander, and there's this blonde guy, it doesn't look like a Gato, but it must be. Carius even talks about how he's the last of the people that served with him at the end. The guy in the scene doesn't look like Gato to me. Some of what he says doesn't really align with Gato either, but the expressed backstory makes me think it's gotta be him.
Yep.
And, not for nothing, but the rest of the time he's wearing the same suit, and his hair isn't even visible. But he suddenly turned blonde.
Yes.
Well, there's no guess. He does turn blonde. It's not an arguable point.
A trick of the light.
Maybe the sun is like backlighting him, but that doesn't explain how when he turns inwards towards the inside of the ship to talk to Carius, the hair facing Carius is blonde too. So the thing I said earlier about the element of maybe he dyed his hair for the infiltration, and this is actually what his hair is like.
My final note, still on the laser pumped energy weapon. Technically, it should be a laser pumped laser that is supposed to be an X-ray laser. I'm not going to go into the specific details, but that's far enough. The X-ray, the laser pump laser, have appeared in other forms of science fiction, like David Weber's Honorverse series, which is the first time I heard about it. I was like, oh, that's why I recognize it. Like, wait a minute, I've seen this before. Well, read it, actually. Where they fire missiles, and the missiles have a nuke, and when they explode, they also have a laser in them, and so it's a laser that hits the enemy ship and does the actual damage, something because of, shield technology that the ships have, blah, blah, blah.
Well, ironically, I'm also at my final note as well. Admiral Wyatt suggests that there are traitors on the Xeon side. Last episode, and while it wouldn't be beyond consideration to think that we'll finally see some Fetty spies, it also aligns with our thoughts on what Seema might be up to, playing all sides for the best reward for her in the end.
Yeah. Doesn't believe in the cause anymore. She's just out for herself and her people, I suppose. That's why they follow her. It's like, yeah, she's not going to get us into trouble.
Well, they'll want more tiger pelts.
In space.
Yeah, no, it's probably more the element that somebody was getting some, extravagant thing shipped, and that she pirated the shipment.
Got the hands on it, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's less likely that she was, one of the Africa rebels that just took off after hunting a tiger.
Oh, India, mostly. Or
actually,
Siberia.
I was going towards Siberia. Well, I'm not exactly familiar where white tigers are from naturally. I would assume Northeast Asia.
Well, they're basically an albino tiger. Regular tigers are not white, so, it would be even rare type of tiger.
Well, I mean, maybe she came from Las Vegas.
That also could be a thing.
Although I think that one got put down after it attacked
Station, I think it was, yeah.
Who?
Well, there's two magicians, and they had these.
What name did you just say? That's what I'm asking.
Stagehand. I said a stagehand.
Oh no! It attacked one of them. The direct. Musicians, magicians. I just can't remember the act now. I can see them in my face.
Yeah,
I can see them in my face. That's where my brain is. It's in my face.
That's explains a lot, really.
Oh god, I can see them. I can't remember their names because I don't think it's Penn and Teller. It's not Penn and Teller.
No.
Yeah, no. It's just the Penn and Teller are the most famous magician stage act at the moment.
They have German names. I think they're Or Germans.
Sort of, I guess. It's right there, just right at the edge. They're so kind of weird names too, even in German. It's just
and very blonde, or
Well, one of them. The other one was either black or brown hair.
It'll come back to us eventually.
It won't. As
We'll
close
Google
to
it.
it as I'm going to get on without remembering it directly. All right. Well, anything else you want to add before we get into it?
Not really.
All right. Well, nothing to do then but to hop on in.
But before we get started,
Make sure that you hit the like button.
Hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
on top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
Unfiltered.
Uncensored.
And uncut.
as well as some early access stuff,
You can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
I mean, as powerful as this is, it's also a very complex weapon system that, if you think about it, is not that useful.
Well, that's why they had all the distraction maneuvers leading up to him getting here.
I think they rename Solomon into Kopei, I think. I think that was the Birmingham.
Until they die on screen. And it hasn't happened yet. Oddly, in the recap, they didn't go as far as the last episode did.
Yeah. Well, suggesting that there was that's suggesting from there being fighting and all that throughout those years.
Well, yeah. We already know that because we watched the OVA 0082. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Where it's 0081.
Yeah.
Battlefield Record. But, yeah. I'd be remiss if I didn't say I'm still trying to remember the name of those two magicians. Unfortunately, when you said German, all I've got is Hans and Franz, which aren't magicians. They're here to pump you up, though.
Yeah. Is it with a Z, though? I think so.
What with a Z?
Their names. One of them, anyway.
I don't think so. I think they're really short. The names, not the magicians.
They might be. I haven't seen them on stage or anything like that, so. Yeah, I think they're going to go for another drop. Siegfried and Roy. Which, well,
not odd at all. No, I said they were odd names even in German. No, not at all. Siegfried, very famous German mythological figure. Roy is just a name. It was tearing me up inside, not being able to remember.
Colliding war zones. It still looks like they're going to do another colony drop.
Well, in the opening, I don't think it's a colony.
Yeah. It is what you become. Yeah, I was wondering how he would survive his only weapon use. It was that close and that massive.
Well, beyond weaponry that doesn't rip you into another universe, I guess that was pretty bright on the scale of weapons we've seen. Did not notice the picture behind her before. So it's been 12 hours since the last time we saw the clock, according to my notes. Okay, so we destroyed the fleet. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They destroyed the fleet. Next thing is Solomon itself. Gato did say he was going to fly into the bay.
連邦のモビルスーツがこんなことをしでかすとは。だがまだ決着はついておらん。
And ultimately, this all comes back to you guys for opening up the nuclear silo.
決着はまだ。
Again, we've seen that he stole 2 nukes. However, the show keeps referring to the fact he only has 1.
ダミンを貪る連中にはこれこそ悪夢というものだな。
Of Solomon.
では後ほど少佐予定地点でお待ちしております。
しかしなんとたわいの
Yeah, I guess they're not taking Solomon.
一色とはこのことか。
Here comes Ko.
わしたか。
ガトー、聞こえているか？返事をしろ。聞こえているだろう、ガトー。お前が忘れても俺は忘れはしない。
いつぞやの男か。
俺は決着をつけるまで。
I mean, even if you didn't recognize him, you think you recognize the silhouette of Gundam 01.
私の勝ち戦に花を添えるだけだ。そして貴様に話すしたらども誰と言ったはずだ。
Great, the Vulcans. I don't know why the beeping was increasing, because he wasn't getting closer to a lock. Can't wait for some rando in 3 years to be killed by that.
やった。違う。
Oh, you didn't.
ガトーは。
遅い。
ガトー。
I think that's the one from the opening.
各班第9ブロックに向かわれたし、12番ゲートは閉鎖中。 SL の残存部隊は L23 に集結せよ。第7フィールド損害率 87%。
各艦隊に甚大な損害が出ております。約3分の2は行動不能の模様です。終わりだが、我々は残り3分の1の勢力をもってしてもはるかに優勢なんだよ。
That was like
それに引き
Garp with hair almost.
切り札を使ってしまった。
機関を通路へ移しましょう。そして周辺の哨戒と艦隊の再編成を。
そうしてくれたまえ。
閣下、アルビオンよりこちらに。
So I said Garp, I meant Gop.
何を今さら無用だと言ってやれ。
Also, get some sun, Lieutenant.
しかし、その独立した索敵攻撃部隊ならではの自由な行動を取れと伝えろ。かしこまりました。
What? Oh my god, this guy's just stupid. That's what he is.
満足だろうな、ガトー。でもそいつは2号機を奪われた俺たち。
So he's on his 3rd beam saber now?
Yeah.
わからんでもない。随分肝を舐めたようだな。
聞いてるのか。582だ。
聞いてやる。
なんだと。
戦いの始まりは全て怨恨に根ざしている。当然のこと。
いつまで減らず口を。
しかし怨恨のみで戦いを支える者に私を倒せぬ。私は義によって立っているからな。歯車となって戦う男には分かるまい。
Didn't we have a whole speech before about not giving speeches?
Yeah.
What is this, Gundam Wing?
手を挙げた。
どうしてなぜこの二人が戦わなければならない
Because one of them's trying to kill everybody and the other one's trying to
Yeah.
stop them from killing
Same.
everyone. The thing is,
Yeah,
it
that-
goes to what I said before, that I think she knows Gato, even though
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense, the element that she watched him steal the Gundam.
Mhm.
Nothing like stopping a blade with your foot.
メインカメラ。所詮貴様とは価値観が違うようだな。
Oh, you can see your Schwartz is as big as mine. I imagine he's either got to win here, or any damage incurred to Gundam 01 has to be fixed back on the moon again.
Go! 少佐、脱出を早く！ゴー、急いで！くそ、コアファイターはダメか。
Simultaneous abandonment.
確か浦木とか言ったな。二度と忘れん。
I guess mission accomplished then. At least started the fight with.
ガトー！
Oh, that's right. My mobile suit was blowing up. I forgot. Well, I guess that takes care of the Gundams. And presumably the second missing nuke.
Yeah.
God, if only we had one of those hundreds of other Gundams that we know exists.
Yeah. Yeah, but this is the Gundam of the series, right? Well, the one of two Gundams in the series.
Yeah, but we have every Gundam that exists beforehand, too. Every Gundam that exists beforehand that survived its series.
浦木中尉も無事に脱出したのだから。どうしてこんなことに。
War in the Pocket came out before this, right?
Yeah.
So presumably
1990, yeah.
RX-78 dash whatever G that they had there still exists.
Oh, here comes the count.
肉眼で移動中のコロニーを確認。異常なし。
了解。ストロベリー内そのまま紹介を続行せよ。
了解。終わり。
See, the fact you're moving them for us means that we don't even have to strap giant engines to them like we did last time.
ありゃ、クジラだな。
クジラ？
なんだ。
That shouldn't happen. There's no air compression wave to shake them up when something else moves past them.
なんだよモーラ。やぶから棒に。
いいから来て。
一体どうしたって。
ニナが変なのよ。彼女らしくないんだ。うなだれて部屋に引きこもっちゃって。
どうして。俺が1号機を失ったからか。いや、ニナにとって1号機と2号機を同時に失ったからか。
それだけかな。とにかく励ましてやれるのはあんたしかいないよ。 早く言ってや
Yeah,
っ
'cause
て。
technically you're the only one that knows that Gato survived.
こちらコーツ誰か返事をしてくれ傍受して
Yeah, it's another colony drop.
Well, what did I say?
誰か返事をしてくれダメです妨害されて
I legit thought it was funny that they were giving 2 colonies
フリート
to Zeon.
このコロニーは我がコロニー公社の管理下にあるわかるか
The Colony Corporation is still with them.
スペースノイドだ
Well, we know that from,
我々の
War in the Pocket.
礎だということだからこそ我々は
Boring conversation anyway. Seems like that would be a hole that would let air escape once the door's sealed in.
ニナ
こう
こんなところにいたのか
終わったわね。ガンダムによって起こされた事件は何もかも。
すまないガンダムを2機とも失ってしまって
うん、いいの。よく帰ってきてくれた。
でもこれからどうするんだいニナはニナ
地球へ。
え
地球へ行ってもいいわ。
Also, she got a pretty big room.
No, I think this is an observation
Mora
deck.
said that she wouldn't leave her room.
どうかしら。
Well, this doesn't look like a room.
It has to be. Mora said she wouldn't leave her room, so she's got a pretty opulent room.
あいつの態度は星のクズがまだ
あの人のことを言うのはよして。聞きたくないわ。この後も戦いが続くとしても、あなたはもう十分だわ。深入りして、それが体に染みついてしまって、忘れたくても忘れられない。そんな風になるのが怖い。怖いわ。
ニナ
忘れたいのよ。このお顔。
Now for the 15-minute sex scene.
Yeah.
I would say that I wish they had gone into her backstory a bit more. I know, because it's kind of been like a mystery unfolding thing.
Yeah.
But I don't think that solves my ultimate problem of they've kind of damsel in distressed her.
Yeah.
But she's always kind of been damsel in distress, and that she's not
Well,
like...
she's supposed to be.
Yeah, she's not the
She's a
fighter.
civilian, so. Yeah.
連邦に察知されたぞ送り狼を出せ
バレたか。だが遅すぎ
So she's wearing layers. He's fully open. So either one of
Yeah.
these people is really cold, or the other one's really hot.
シーマ様モビルスーツ前期退避を完了です
全艦主砲一斉射撃。撃て。
Cutting them into chunks to use for multiple. Here's the thing. This is stupid for one major reason. In Origin, the entire Earth Federation fleet couldn't stop Islandifish for a week shooting at it. One barrage broke this thing into parts.
Well, they were hitting certain things that they set up to explode, so.
Yeah, you think the Federation could have done that with a week.
That's a big office. It's a huge office. That's a huge desk.
でなければデラーズがあれだけの演説をぶったのはなぜだ
それは脅し。
とは思えんそこでだ私はジャブローのコーエン将軍の指示を仰ぎデラーズフリートに対する戦闘行動の続行を決定したニナさんガンダムの1号機と2号機をオーストラリアへ運んだのは重力下の地上テストが必要なのはあの2機だけだったからだな ニナさん。
やめてください。あれは私の管轄ではありません。
Wow, there's a third Gundam, because of course there is.
3号機が
中尉のキャリアとニナさんの技術的サポートがあれば。
艦長、ぜひ自分にやらせてください。
ダメよ。あれは全く別のタイプの。
すでに本艦は進路を変更した。
One was agile, the other one was heavily armored and carried nukes. What's the third one gonna be?
艦長、ああ失礼。緊急情報であります。
In case you were not convinced.
しかし、このミラーを
We have a word for it.
Yeah.
Colony Jack. Either it's happened enough that we've coined a term for it, or Synapse has coined it himself.
あと1分。もし私の想像が正しければ、それぞれミラーを一つずつ失ったコロニーは重心がずれて回転に歪みが発生します。やがてこの2つは
激突するわけか。当然激突したコロニーは弾け合って月の重力にどちらかが捕まる。
なんと月へのコロニーごとし。
このことをコンペイトへ。
That'll teach our allies.
この船も変身して。
この位置からでは間に合わん。
コロニー激突時の放電を警戒せよ。
I mean, technically, they're both in Lagrange points. The gravity should pull them towards Earth.
Well, it depends how close they are one to another body. The closer the body. Because remember, side 3 is closer to the moon than it is to Earth. So the larger
Right.
the
I just
body
mean that
would
if
be
only
moon,
one
yeah.
goes towards the Earth, the other one should also still, I mean, towards the moon, the other one should still be carried towards the Earth. Now, we have no idea where these are actually, technically. We know where Solomon is, we could figure this out. I was looking at the map, I can't remember the map anymore.
カカ、コロニー同士が激突したとの報告です。第一戦速だ。それ。
Or they want to lure out the rest of the fleet.
If I remember
To
history
destroy it.
correctly, we're gonna have a week to deal with this.
計算が出ました。コロニーの1機は間違いなく月への落下軌道をとっています。
Well, I guess they're calculating the other one's gonna go out away from the system.
まだ状況はどう変化するかわからん。とにかく今はガンダムを。
Alright, well, I
They're
guess
gonna
that
escort
explains
it
what
in.
it is from the opening. What we saw
Yeah.
in the opening was just a colony. Yeah. As viewed from this very specific angle. Well,
Okay, here's the thing, though.
why the moon?
Exactly.
I mean, it's the main
Anaheim?
production center for the Federation. We
Yeah.
know that because Anaheim is mainly supplying the Federation more so than Zeon. But still, I think it would have been a better serve to try and hit Jaburo again. But I don't know,
I
maybe
mean-
hitting their production after you just destroyed the majority of their fleet is probably a good move. At best, you could seek to balance forces. Whatever you've got
True.
left, take out their means of resupplying.
Mhm.
And of course, we've been using their weapons against them, their nukes,
Yeah.
their Gundam. So the losses we get incurred based on that is actually still their losses.
Yeah.
It's
So
a
much for
weird
rebuilding
plan.
the colonies.
It's a weird plan,
Yeah.
but I don't see it as flawed. It makes sense. It's just not. I guess I was looking for like an end run. This isn't so much an end run as a prelude to a continuing battle.
Yeah. I mean, the other way I see it is if they destroy 2/3 of the fleet. Well, the thing with that is, though, this is more a rethread of what happened in the 1 Year War. The Battle of Luna destroyed the bulk of the Federation fleet, right? Instead of destroying Luna, they captured Luna, including Anaheim. So they cut off that source, right? Yet the Earth continued to fight. They were able to rebuild their fleets, build GMs, and build Gundams. So on Earth. So unless you have a plan to deal with Earth,
プラズマの中に星のクズは目覚め、月は孤独なるコロニーを引き寄せた。今必要なのは時。アルビオンはガンダム3号機を求めてラビアンローズを訪ねる。止めようのない時計の針、苛立つ浦木の心、そそり立つガンダム3号機の眼前で、時はニナに決断を迫っていた。
apparently there's a traitor, another traitor on the Federation side pulling the gun.
I don't know. You know, it'd be interesting to me if that was our boy from 79. Our boy from Origin and 79. I don't know. It's just it's not as satisfying, but it is exciting. So I'm not gonna say I'm not happy with the direction we've gone here, what Operation Stardust actually was. Although I would say it's not an inspired name for what actually it is. Like, what Stardust should have been the name for the nuke operation. We turned their fleet to Stardust, not we rammed a colony into the moon. Stardust.
And I don't think that that wouldn't put the moon out of alignment enough to collide with the Earth.
No, because the colony, as big as the colonies are mainly empty space.
Even with quadrillions of tons of material, no, it wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, interesting. I'm intrigued. And it again shows the Federation this time were just so dumb all the time. Like, oh yes, let's put all our fleets in the same place. Let's get all our mobile suits somewhere else so they can intercept these guys.
It's your faction, man.
Yeah, they're stupid. They're just damn stupid.
The more the show goes on, the dumber your side gets, and the more tenacious my side gets.
Now
and I even made the joke. The only faction to have used colony drops as weapons or colonies as weapons, let's give them 2 more. Yeah. And they use them as weapons.
Both of them.
As I said, it's not the first move I would have made. Give Side 6 2 more Banshai. They've got to be the economic powerhouse of the system right now.
Yeah.
You could have leveraged that for something. We'll give you these 2. You can repair them or whatever, but they're somewhat operational, and in exchange, give us concessions towards trade or whatever.
I really have nothing more to say.
It's just not the plan I would have gone with or created. I would have stuck to the tried and true, let's bomb Jaburo.
I don't feel about that one, but yeah.
Well, because it's the command center of the Federation. And not for nothing, I'm pretty sure we've determined it would have worked the first time. It's if not the Federation fleet. Again, I blame the Federation fleet for the amount of destruction that happens. They're the ones that knocked Island Iffish off course. They're the ones that effectively turned it into 3 separate bits of debris that fell on the Earth instead of one large impact. Effectively, they saved Jaburo at the cost of the rest.
So there you have it. Episode 10 of Suit Gundam 0083 Stardust Memory. Thank you, everybody. And we'll see you when we see you. Bye, everybody.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stone-Faced Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?